Hi there, my name is Sue Wilson. I'm the founder of Wishing Well Services Limited and the co-developer of this hay optimizer. The purpose of this video is to show you how to replace the net in the hay optimizer. You'll need to get a net replacement kit, which comes with a net, written instructions, and recommends that you have a few other tools on hand, including a permanent marker, some scissors, and a 7/16 inch wrench. The replacement process takes place in three parts. First of all, removal of the hay net assembly. Secondly, putting the new net on the hay net assembly. And thirdly, putting the hay net assembly back into the optimizer with the new net. Okay, let's start changing the hay net. The hay net is mounted on an assembly which consists of a slide arm that itself is mounted on a stainless steel U-rod. First thing you do is open the slide arm all the way and make sure there's not much hay or any hay in the optimizer before you start doing this. The U-rod is held into place with two U-bolts, which are themselves held into place with some nuts and washers. So the first thing you do is mark the position of the U-bolts on the rod with your permanent marker. This will help you when you reinstall the system. Then you get your wrench and you take off all of the nuts and washers. So I've removed the nuts and washers. Hold on to those. And now I'm going to take out the U-bolt. You can see where I marked the U-bolt with the permanent marker. And the U-bolt simply just slips out of place. And a spacer comes off as well. Keep these for future use. After removing the second U-bolt, the hay net assembly drops into the optimizer. So at this point you can pull it out, pulling it onto the side that has the notch close to the latch where you would normally be latching the optimizer, and then wiggling each leg out so that you completely remove the hay net assembly. Now it's time to remove the old net off of the hay net assembly. So close the slide arm and actually pull it all the way off. And then you have to just simply thread the net off of the slide arm. And then slide the old net off of the U-bar. Okay, so now we're at step 2, which is to load the new net onto the hay net assembly. We provide the hay net on a zip tie, which we can use as a hoop to quickly and correctly thread the net on the hay net assembly. We have 3 sides of the net on the hoop, and what we suggest you do is feed your thumb along the inside of the zip tie, so that then you can use your thumb to hold the net into place as you then thread the net onto the U-rod. Once you have the net onto the U-rod, you push it around to the middle, and then at that point you can cut the zip tie. We've got the net on the U-rod. Now it's time to cut the zip tie. And we'll be evenly distributing the net around the U-rod. Now you may have noticed that there are 4 pieces of white tape on the net. We put those on each corner to help show where the corners are so that the net can be easily redistributed. thing I should have mentioned about this net that I'm putting on, this net actually was a net that was used all last winter. So it's got about 300 days of use. It's not a brand new net like you would be getting with your net kit. So we have the net distributed around 3 sides of the U-rod. The next step is to start to thread the net through the slide arm. So starting up at this piece of white tape, start threading the slide arm over the net. Okay, now we're going to finish threading the net onto the slide arm and then putting the slide arm back over the U-rod. One thing you'll have to do is make sure you've put a few of the loops of the net over top of the closing loop latch. So just carefully position the bar side and then the hoop side of the slide arm back onto the U-rod and push it back into the open position. At this stage, we will now start putting the hay net assembly back into the OptiMizer. The hay net assembly is now ready to be installed back into the OptiMizer. So I'm picking it up and putting it in opposite to the way that we took it out. First of all, putting one leg through on the side that's opposite where the latch is, letting it come down into the OptiMizer, and then putting the second leg through. At this point, you can open the net or open the slide arm in order to distribute the net equally around the U-bar, keeping in mind that the white tape should be approximately in the corner, in each of the corners at the back of the OptiMizer. Now it's time to fasten the U-rod onto the OptiMizer. First of all, make sure that the net is in the right position with the white tape showing the corner of the net. Put the spacer in position. Make sure there's no net either behind the spacer or pinched by the U-rod or by the bolt. Put the U-bolt through the holes in the back of the OptiMizer and then hand tighten the washer and nuts back into place. We're at our last step. We just need to make sure that the U-rod is properly positioned, and that's what those marks were for. So just make sure that you've got the bolt in between the 2 marks that you made, and take your wrench and tighten the nuts at the back of the OptiMizer, and then you're done.